Hey guys, what's up? It's Aaron here from Black Swamp Preppers. I've got another review for you guys. Today this is of the Camillus Les Stroud Special Edition. This is the SK Arctic. Stick around, we'll get into it. Alright guys, so like I said, this is the Les Stroud Special Edition by Camillus Knives. This particular one is the Arctic SK Arctic or Survival Knife Arctic. As you can see here, pretty nice ballistic nylon sheath. We'll just go over the sheath and then we'll work our way into the knife, and then we'll work on pros and cons in my eyes about the knife and the sheath. On the back here, typical one-way vertical mount for a belt. Pretty generous belt loop. Could accommodate a pretty wide belt, I guess, on whatever you're running. We've got two eyelets here, reinforced eyelets in the ballistic nylon itself. Those could be used, to hang it somewhere, to put a paracord around, to hang it on at your camp, wherever you feel the need. In the back here, we have a small map pocket, a little mesh map pocket, kind of a nice touch. In here we have the Les Stroud Survival Tips on nice bright green paper that could be used as signal, could be used a fire starter if you need to, anything. But it has some valuable tips on it that you may not want to burn it in a survival situation. Some of these tips might help keep you calm and get you out of the situation alive and unharmed. So, kind of a nice touch. And I'm sure a lot of you guys know about the Bear Grylls Gerber survival knives, and Camillus sided with Les Stroud, Les Stroud sided with Camillus to make his own survival knives. Now, in my opinion, we could talk about made survival knives, or whatever you want to call them, but that's for a different video. This is solely on this knife. This was made to be in direct comparison with the Bear Grylls Ultimate survival knife, the biggest, baddest one that Gerber makes. It's like 59 or 69 bucks when they came out. Price point on this guy is right around the $40 range. Depending on where you find it. This one came from Gander Mountain. I think I got them on sale for 29 bucks. So, pretty good buy on a piece like this. Getting up to the top of the sheath here, we'll get into the knife. You have a Velcro hook and loop enclosure that holds your blade in, and blade retention with the hook and loop. Again, flawless as you'd expect. It's holding that in there tight. It's not going anywhere. On the top of the sheath, we'll get into that too. You have a ferro rod, and it pulls straight out. It's got a small rib here, locks into another rib on the inside of that. You've got a nice little ferro rod, keeps it right with the sheath, and it's pretty labor intensive to get it out of there, so it's not going anywhere. One thing I'm going to hit right now while we're on the ferro rod is it is noisy. It rattles around. I don't know if you can hear that. It rattles around in the sheath, and sometimes when you're carrying it, depending on what you're doing, you can hear it rattle. I'm just nitpicky. I don't want anything on me to make more noise than what I'm already doing, depending on what I'm doing, I suppose. But that just is kind of an annoyance that it is kind of rattly. Another thing, I would have liked to seen this itself moved to one side or the other instead of right on the top of the sheath. It makes getting in and out a little more difficult because your blade is right here, or your handle. It's a little easier if your knife is out, I suppose, but nonetheless, still to get two fingers on it And until this thing breaks in, it's almost impossible to get out of this sheath. So it really makes it a chore to get that little sucker out of there. I would have liked to seen it moved to the side here or something, where you could have some more access to this nice knurled ABS handle. We'll get into the blade here, then we'll go back and talk about pros and cons. We already talked about some with the ferrule rod. We'll move that off to the side. So here's our blade. It's a 440 stainless, non-stick coated, drop point style blade. Very nice, comes factory, very sharp from the factory. It's sharp right through paper, right through cardboard. It's a sharp blade. I've done a couple feather sticks with this, and it feathers wood very nicely. We'll start at the back and we'll work our way to the drop point. On the back we have a knurled steel pommel, perfect for pounding anything you would need to do, grind, maybe a nail, anything like that. Effectively a small hammer. Also back here we've got a small lanyard loop, perfect size for one way on 550 cord. All this gray here is all hard plastic. This kind of neon green here that matches the sheath, and this black diamond plated here is all a very nice impact resistant, or impact absorbing rather, nice rubber. It's very nice. It fits very well. Like I said, large glove size hands. If you've seen any of the other videos, I always kind of go over fitment of a knife is kind of a big thing. This hook up here fits nicely into your index finger. It can roll right over. You can roll right on top of the knife. Now this particular knife, reverse grip for fire striking or what have you, however you're using the knife in a reverse grip, is very uncomfortable, and the knife wants to actually roll back kind of into your hand a little bit, and that has to do with this here lining up with the web on your hand by your thumb, and it's really inconvenient for a reverse grip, and it's very uncomfortable. I wouldn't want to do anything with this grip for any extended amount of time, or be applying too much pressure to the blade itself in this grip for any extended amount of time. So that is kind of a con for me. It's good traditional way, not so good reverse way. We got some nice laser engraving, laser etching on our non-stick coating here on the blade. We've got Les Stroud signature. Then here it says Camillus, and it says carbonitrum titanium. I'm guessing that has something to do with the blade makeup. Best I can see, best I've read, it's 440 stainless steel. I don't know if it's been enhanced with some sort of titanium something. That is maybe a question for Camillus themselves, but everything I found online, it's 440 stainless coated in a non-stick coating. So we'll go to the ferrule rod here. As you can see on the top of this blade, it's got a notch cut out. Like I said, this is the Arctic. I believe it's pretty much the same on the desert or the mountain. This is the Arctic, and that lines up perfectly with your ferrule rod here to throw sparks. And like it will need some working in. All the finish, this non-stick finish here in the notch, will need to be worn out, and as will your initial first kind of finish on this ferrule rod. Kind of scratch it up a little bit, and then you'll be able to use this to throw sparks. Like I said, I've used this knife very little, so it's not really worn in. There's a couple, but it's going to take some wearing in. All that finish needs to come off to be able to get that steel on this ferrule rod to make some good reliable sparks. That's pretty much it for the knife. It's got good weight to it. We'll go over and we'll do a blade thickness real quick. Just for reference, we'll go back to the thickest part of the blade. We're coming in at 155 thousandths. So it's a pretty thick blade. There's no bend to this whatsoever. This thing is sturdy. It's a sturdy knife. It is hefty. It's got good weight, which is good for chopping or batoning, because you have that weight to carry the energy through whatever you're working on. chopping. It's got that weight to carry it through. You're not yourself going to have to put as much effort into doing an action with this knife as you would a lighter knife. So overall, the knife, I really like the knife. The sheath is the worst of the two in my opinion with this setup here, but I really like this knife. It's a very nice knife, and for 35, 40 bucks, you about can't beat it. We'll go over a quick, my biggest con here, and that is if you take your hook and loop closure off, put your knife in, there is nothing to hold your knife in the sheath. Whether you put it in this way or you flip it around, put it in this way, there is nothing to hold your knife in the sheath. No retention other than the Velcro. The Velcro holds it fine. Is it ever going to come out with the Velcro closed? Probably not, but it's just another thing I don't care for. The other thing is, you'll see this gap right here where the blade is exposed a little bit. The sheath is all the way up to the handle of the knife here, but it's off here, and I almost wish they would have indexed it one way or the other for a designated carry position of the knife, because now it just kind of wobbles all around in there. Like I said, that doesn't matter if you change sides, change ways it's in there. It's just kind of wobbly. It's just sloppy. I don't care for it in my opinion. But once you get it in there and you close your Velcro, realistically, it's not going anywhere. So like I said, if you guys have watched, particularly me, I'm a little more nitpicky on a lot of my stuff. If you've watched any of my knife reviews and stuff before, you'll notice that. But overall, I really like this knife. Camillus did a good job. Les Stroud did a good job working together to get this one done. And I really do like the knife. Is it one that I'm going to carry with my kit or my bug out bag or my camping stuff? Probably not. Just because of the sole fact that I have a lot of knife that I like better than this one. That doesn't mean it's a bad knife by any means. It's a great knife, but I just have a lot that I like better than this one, that do things a little bit better than this one does, not taking up as much real estate and not weighing as much, things like that. But would I say this is a bad knife? Absolutely not. I like the knife a lot. As you guys know, I collect a lot of knives. So this is, I have a lot of the Bear Grylls knives. I have 3 of the Bear Grylls one. This is the only Les Stroud edition from Camillus I have. I have 3 of the Bear Grylls Gerbers, but I just felt that as part of my collection, and it was on sale the day that I come through, so I thought to go with the collection that I'll pick it up and it can go with the other ones. I've been watching Les Stroud since I was 5 or 6 years old, watching him on TV, watching Survivorman and stuff like that. That's kind of a lot of the stuff I'm into now, camping and survival. I remember watching him do stuff when I was little that taught me things that I can remember now as an adult and work into camping and survival and when we do our trips and outings and things like that. So if you guys got any questions on this knife, feel free to leave them below, and me and Mike will do our best to get back with you and get all your questions answered. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Comment, rate, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys later.